low vision, or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Around our area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York now continues. Your reader for this hour is Will Evans. And we'll start off with the Southtowns Bee serving West Seneca, Orchard Park, and East Aurora. And our first article, Close to Home, East Aurora Seniors Prank Principal by Camping Out on Front Lawn. Like the end of every year, East Aurora High School Principal William Bill Roberts was expecting some sort of senior prank by the graduating class. However, the principal was not expecting this year's prank to hit so close to home. On Friday, June 12th, Roberts awoke to a surprise when he found several dozen seniors camped out in front of his village home. While graduating seniors have seen pranks lead to negative results, Roberts exclusively told the Southtowns Bee what he thought of the prank. My initial reaction was complete surprise, followed by a lot of laughter, Roberts admitted. While I certainly did not expect them to camp out in my front yard, I have to give them credit for coming up with a prank that was harmless, respectful, and incredibly well executed. Roberts transitioned into the top role in 2017 after serving as the school's vice principal and previously as a health teacher, taking over following the retirement of James Hoagland, Ph.D. I have learned over the years that our seniors are creative and always looking for a memorable way to celebrate the end of their high school experience, Roberts continued. The official school district even recognized the well-received prank on their social media, adding the popular #1EA tag of school spirit and solidarity. Roberts said that the prank reflected the positive spirit of this graduating class, whose commencement, the district's 140th, is set for Friday, June 26th on the high school football field. He said it created a fun memory for students and staff alike and is something I suspect we will be talking about for years to come. Orchard Park to host America's 250th birthday bash on July the 4th. The village of Orchard Park will host a patriotic celebration of our nation's 250th anniversary on Saturday, July the 4th, with a day of community spirit, family fun, and fireworks. The annual 4th of July parade will follow its traditional route, beginning at Orchard Park High School and proceeding through the village before concluding at Orchard Park Middle School. Spectators are encouraged to line the parade route and enjoy the many creative entries, community organizations, marching units, businesses, and neighborhood groups in this long-standing local tradition. This year's parade will feature several awards recognizing outstanding floats and entries. The historic Harvard Cup, a longtime Orchard Park tradition, will once again be awarded to the best neighborhood float. Joining it are two new awards, the Quaker Cup, honoring the best business or municipal float, and the Yates Cup, recognizing exceptional creativity and community spirit. Following the parade, the celebration will continue at Green Lake, the new location for Orchard Park's Independence Day festivities and fireworks display. Families can gather at the park and enjoy food trucks, live music, and community fellowship before the fireworks light up the night sky. As our country marks 250 years of independence, Orchard Park is proud to celebrate the values, traditions, and community spirit that have made our nation strong, said Orchard Park Mayor Joanne Litwin. Whether you are marching in the parade, competing for one of the coveted cups, enjoying the music, or watching the fireworks with family and friends, there will be something for everyone. Come celebrate America's 250th birthday with Orchard Park and make memories that will last a lifetime. Staying in Orchard Park now, Orchard's Park Touch a Tank returning July 19th. Families will have the opportunity to explore a variety of emergency, construction, and service vehicles during the 4th annual Touch a Truck event hosted by the Orchard Park Police Department. The event is scheduled from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sunday, July 19th on Linwood Avenue in the rear parking lot of Mangia Ristorante and Cafe on North Buffalo Street in Orchard Park. Attendees will be able to get an up-close look at trucks and specialized vehicles while meeting the people who operate them. The family-friendly event is free to attend. Moving now to West Seneca Town Band to perform at Community Days. Every Monday evening, West Seneca musicians pile into the Ebenezer United Church of Christ on Main Street for their rehearsals. Under the guidance of Miles Kiffner, director of bands at Eden Middle and High Schools, members of the West Seneca Town Band come together to not only play music, but to build relationships. A lot of these musicians have been playing together for a long time, so it starts to feel like a family, said Tracy Tanner, a band board member and French horn player with the West Seneca Town Band. The band has been around since the 1800s, but their mission stays the same: bringing the community together through music. Residents can check out the West Seneca Town Band this weekend during Community Days, when they'll play at 4 p.m. Saturday in the Lions Bandshell at Veterans Park. Audience members can expect to hear a variety of instruments and music that reflect the group's diverse musicians. The band consists of flutes, clarinets, tubas, percussion, and much more. The set list for Community Days will include the national anthem and patriotic marches, but also pieces from musicals and classics from the 1940s. Music transcends so much and unites us regardless of differences, said Tanner. Anyone is welcome to join the West Seneca Town Band, Tanner said. They have members ranging from teens to seniors, and the band accepts all skill levels. For more information on the West Seneca Town Band, visit them on Facebook at West Seneca Town Band or on Instagram at WSTOWNBAND. Flynn announces candidacy for East Aurora Town Board. Former Village of East Aurora trustee and lifelong East Aurora resident Molly Flynn officially announced her candidacy for the Aurora Town Board earlier this week, pledging to bring experienced, efficient, and community-centered leadership to the 5-member council. Flynn brings more than 2 decades of public service and local municipal experience to the race. She served for 16 years on the East Aurora Village Zoning Board of Appeals and 4 years as an East Aurora Village trustee, building extensive expertise in local governance, budgeting, land use, and collaborative decision-making. I am honored to be the Aurora Democratic Committee's endorsed candidate and am committed to working hard on behalf of every resident, Flynn said in a news release. Combined with my dedication to our community and my desire to ensure local government remains transparent, responsive, and accountable, I believe my prior public service and professional experience have prepared me well to serve on the board. Throughout her 30-year career in public, nonprofit, and higher education sectors, Flynn has demonstrated a strong commitment to service and effective leadership. Beginning as a VISTA volunteer and AmeriCorps leader during the Clinton administration, and later working as an independent grant consultant, she has secured and managed more than $100 million in funding for clients. If elected, Flynn said her top priorities will include promoting responsible growth while protecting the town's valuable open spaces, supporting senior housing initiatives, and strengthening long-term financial planning to keep taxes stable while maintaining essential services. I am running for town board because I believe local government can make a real difference in people's lives, Flynn said. Our town faces important opportunities and challenges, and I believe we can create a future that is more affordable, sustainable, and welcoming for everyone. I look forward to working alongside residents and fellow board members to make that vision a reality. Flynn is the endorsed candidate of the Aurora Democratic Committee for the November election and looks forward to earning the support of town residents. Molly has one of the most impressive resumes our community has ever seen, said Ethan Fry, chair of the Aurora Democratic Committee. We are fully behind Molly and will work hard to help her cross the finish line in November. Flynn earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from Miami University, a Master of Education degree from SUNY Buffalo, and an Education Specialist degree from the George Washington University. She resides in her childhood home in the village of East Aurora, supports numerous local organizations, and is a member of Immaculate Conception Church and the East Aurora Country Club. This seat on the board was vacated earlier this year by former Democratic councilman and current Village of East Aurora Mayor Luke Wachensky, who vacated his town board seat after winning his current seat on the 7-member village board in last March's nonpartisan village election. The 2026 general election is Tuesday, November 3rd. Residents can reach out to Flynn by emailing winwithmollyflynn@gmail.com. That's winwithmollyflynn@gmail.com. And again from East Aurora historian debuts rare photo exhibit. A new exhibit at the Aurora Town Historian's Office is offering residents a glimpse into one of East Aurora's most elaborate Independence Day celebrations through a collection of photographs that have never before been publicly displayed. The exhibit, Pictures of a Parade, July 4th, 1936, through the lens of Martin G. Scheckenberger, features more than 60 photographs documenting East Aurora's 1936 4th of July parade. The images, preserved in the archives of the Aurora Town Historian's Office, captures the marchers, floats, and community spirit of a celebration that drew residents to the village's streets nearly 90 years ago. The display commemorates both the 90th anniversary of the parade and the nation's upcoming 250th anniversary. In addition to Scheckenberger's work, the exhibit includes photographs of the parade taken by other photographers. Parades have long been a tradition in the town of Aurora and village of East Aurora. According to a diary account preserved by local historians, the community's Independence Day parade tradition dates to at least 1830, when a brief procession around a block near the Globe Hotel marked the holiday. By 1936, the annual parade had grown into a major community event. The procession stepped off at 10:15 a.m. July the 4th from the newly constructed traffic circle on the west end of the village. Marchers and floats traveled east on Main Street to Olean Road, then along Oakwood Avenue and South Grove Street before ending at Hamlin Park, where festivities and fireworks continued throughout the day. The parade also served as an opportunity for local businesses to promote themselves through elaborate floats, many of which are featured in the exhibit's photographs. Among those documenting the event was Scheckenberger, a longtime East Aurora photographer whose images provide one of the most comprehensive visual records of the celebration. Scheckenberger moved to East Aurora in 1917 and served as chief photographer for the Buffalo Society of Natural Sciences and the Buffalo Museum of Science from 1919 to about 1930. He later operated his own photography studio in East Aurora, documenting school field days, parades, and other community events. His photography career extended beyond Western New York. As an official photographer at Mount Vernon, he photographed King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, later known as the Queen Mother, during their 1939 visit to the United States. During World War II, Scheckenberger worked as a photographer for Bell Aircraft. Outside of photography, he was interested in stamp collecting, nature, and soil conservation. He died at his East Aurora home on Sycamore Street in June 1950 at the age of 66. The exhibit will remain on display through October 2nd outside the Aurora Town Historian's Office at 575 Oakwood Avenue. The exhibit is presented in collaboration with the Aurora Historical Society and can be viewed during regular municipal center hours from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Additional information is available through the Aurora Town Historian's Office. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 14 minutes past the hour. From the editorial page now, our headline is Don't Let Allergies Control Your Summer. Summer is a time for being outdoors, relaxing with friends, barbecues, and yard games. It's that important time of year in Western New York where one can confidently throw on some shorts and just do whatever. As with most things in life, there is a catch: seasonal allergies. For 81 million people across the nation, summer is when the floodgates of pollen burst asunder, saturating the air with these pesky particulates identified by the immune system as a threat. For the 26% of Americans afflicted, physical reactions come quickly. Watery and itchy eyes, a runny nose, and a less than enjoyable sneeze per minute ratio are predominant symptoms of someone suffering seasonal allergies. Here are some researched methods from the Mayo Clinic to ditch the itch and enjoy your summer. Keep your indoor air clean. If feasible, use air conditioning in your house and car. Utilize a dehumidifier in your home and high-efficiency particulate air filter, commonly known as a HEPA filter, in your bedroom. And clean your floors with a vacuum cleaner that has a HEPA filter. Rinse out your sinuses. Use a saline solution for nasal irrigation to clear out the mucus and allergens caught inside sinuses. Homemade solutions should have 1 part or 1 liter of water, 1.5 teaspoons or 7.5 milliliters of canning salt, and 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters of baking soda. Using clean water, rinse the irrigation device after every use. Let the device dry in the open air. Use over-the-counter remedies: oral antihistamines, corticosteroid nasal sprays, cromolyn sodium nasal sprays, and oral decongestants have all been proven as effective treatments in some individuals for treating the onset of summertime allergies. If all of the above aren't doing the trick, it might be time to check with your physician to get a breakdown of what may help you most. For extreme sufferers of summertime allergies, doctors may order blood and skin tests to help determine what exactly triggers a response in your immune system. For some people, allergen immunotherapy, that's allergy shots, or tablets given under the tongue, can be a successful way to curb your body's response to allergens in the air. Our next article now is written by West Seneca Town Supervisor Gary Dixon. Burke's interest in transparency strikes a hollow chord. I am pleased that Pat Burke has finally shown an interest in government transparency. Better late than never, I guess. He spent 5 years in the Erie County Legislature, during which time no public comment was allowed, and almost 8 years in Albany, where untold damage has been done to New Yorkers by policies enacted with little to no debate in budget bills. Not to mention his newfound love of transparency was not disturbed by the blatant transfers of power engineered by the Erie County Democrats in recent years. Brian Higgins' congressional seat to Tim Kennedy, Crystal People-Stokes' assembly seat to Leah Halton Pope, and Sean Ryan's New York Senate seat to Jeremy Zellner. Everyone knows this, and press outlets have strongly condemned them, but Mr. Burke was unmoved. The residents of West Seneca can rest assured that everything this town board does is in accordance with the law. The recent appointment to replace a councilman who resigned is a great example. The councilman resigned unexpectedly, so the town board, all elected by the public to make decisions, had the legal authority to replace him with a person who would serve until the end of this year. There was some thought to keep the position open until the election this November, but some residents criticized us, even at a town board meeting, for not fulfilling our duty to bring the town board back to 5 members, supervisor and 4 council members. We made a public announcement for candidates, and eventually the town board scheduled interviews with 3 people, 1 Democrat and 2 Republicans, in executive session, as is our practice in all personnel matters. We settled on Mark Priori, a person already known to voters thanks to his run for assembly in 2024 against Mr. Burke, when Mark decisively won West Seneca, but not the race. Contrast West Seneca's process with the town of Tonawonda's, where the resignation of the supervisor had the appearance of being engineered to avoid a primary, and the local Democratic Party, none of them elected or even publicly known, selected John Flynn as the new supervisor. A week later, this was ratified by the Tonawanda Town Board without even an interview. All perfectly legal, if distasteful, and ignored by Mr. Burke. I look forward to Mr. Burke's proposal on how to tighten up the law on filling vacancies. Whatever it is, it should also deal with party nominations in one-party jurisdictions. For my part, I will continue to advocate for term limits at the state level, as well as open primaries, statewide ballot initiatives, and easing ballot access rules for people not part of the in crowd. And again, that was written by Gary Dixon, West Seneca Town Supervisor. And we'll take a look now at the Southtowns Bee What's Going On column. Legion 250 event. The American Legion Post 567, 5784 Ellis Road between California and Taylor is hosting a 250th anniversary event on Friday, July 3rd. The event will feature free hot dogs and hamburgers between noon and 3 p.m., $10 rib dinner with 2 sides starting at 4 p.m. until sold out. There will be a bounce house and lawn games for children and adults. Music starts at noon with more music by Swift Kick from 6 to 9 p.m. There will be fireworks show after 9 p.m. Garden Club. The Orchard Park Garden Club will meet at noon Thursday, July 2nd at Chestnut Ridge Park in Orchard Park to host its annual picnic, honor past presidents, and announce its memorial scholarship recipients. Watch for signs to the picnic. Members are encouraged to bring a small design of choice and table setting. For more information, visit www.opgardenclub.org. Eaters Anonymous. Chronic Compulsive Eaters Anonymous will host a free community information meeting from 10 a.m. to noon Saturday, June 27th at the Elma Public Library, 1860 Bowen Road, Elma. Ice Cream Social. Faith United Church of Christ, 8651 Boston State Road, Boston, will host a free neighborhood ice cream social from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Wednesday, July 29th at its playground, weather permitting. Community members are encouraged to bring lawn chairs. For more information, call the church at 716-941-3529. That's 716-941-3529. Museum tours. Open house tours of the Joel's House Museum, 4287th Street, South Buffalo Road, Orchard Park, will be held from 1 to 3 p.m. on Saturdays, September 5th, September 19th, October 3rd, and October 17th. The Joel's House is a carefully restored example of Italianate architecture and is on the National Register of Historic Places. Tours are free and open to the public. Call 716-662-2185 to arrange a tour. That's 716-662-2185. Chicken barbecue. Orchard Park, American Legion Post 567, 5784 Ellis Road will hold a Chiavetta's Chicken Barbecue from 2 to 6 p.m. every Wednesday, now through November 4th. Drive-through or eat-in cost is $16 for chicken or $23 for half rack of or ribs, cash or charge. For more information, call the post at 716-662-9780. That's 716-662-9780. Crossroads. Plymouth Crossroads, 3566 Clinton Street, West Seneca, will hold an open house from noon to 4 p.m. Sunday, June 28th. Guests are invited to tour the home and learn about the important work performed there. Plymouth Crossroads is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization which provides residential and support services for runaway and homeless youth in an atmosphere supporting their dignity, respect, and self-sufficiency. Garden Art Sale. The Buffalo and Erie County Botanical Gardens will host its annual garden art sale from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, June 27th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sunday, June 28th on the front lawn of the Botanical Gardens, 2655 South Park Avenue, Buffalo. Kiwanis Craft Show. The West Seneca Kiwanis Club will hold its annual Art and Craft Show from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, July 11th at the West Seneca Town Hall campus, 1250 Union Road, West Seneca. Anyone interested in selling your wares at this year's show should email wskcraftshow@gmail.com. Reunion. The West Seneca class of 1962 will hold its annual reunion luncheon from noon to 4 p.m. Saturday, July 11th at Ebenezer Ale House, 4348 Seneca Street, West Seneca. For more information, call 716-432-3103. That's 716-432-3103. East Seneca Golf. East Seneca Fire Company will hold a golf classic fundraiser on Monday, July 13th at Chestnut Hill Golf Course with a shotgun start at 10 a.m. Fee for a team of 4 is $400, which includes golf, lunch at the Turn, dinner, and after party at the fire hall, skill prizes and contests, and raffle drawings. All proceeds benefit the fire company. To sign up for the event or for more information, call Norm Latcher Jr. at 716-392-3818. That's 716-392-3818. And Purple Hearts. Erie County Clerk Michael P. Kearns is once again recognizing local veterans who have been bestowed the Purple Heart by inviting them to be included in the William J. Donovan Purple Heart Recipients Book of Merit. Applications can be obtained online through the Erie County Clerk's Office website or requested by emailing salutes@erie.gov. To be registered in the 2026 Book of Merit, applications along with valid proof that a Purple Heart was awarded need to be submitted no later than July 24th. Veterans and family members with questions may also contact the office directly at 716-858-6787. That's 716-858-6787. This year's ceremony will be held on National Purple Heart Day at 10 a.m. Friday, August the 7th in the Surrogates Court courtroom inside Old County Hall, 92 Franklin Street in Buffalo. And we'll turn now to the Out of the Past article. 32 years ago, June 23rd, 1994. Although it sounds like something you might see on a television commercial, the Beer Patrol is real and operating right here in West Seneca. By this time of the year, in fact, some teens have already had first-hand experience with the patrol, which uses the West Seneca Police Department's four-wheel drive vehicle to search for underage keg parties all over town, mainly on weekends. What was first reported as a hostage incident didn't turn out that way, but it was nonetheless considered a crisis situation Monday on Bellwood Avenue. Police talked with what they described as a depressed 70-year-old man who was holed up in a home for close to 4 hours. Police Chief John Miskovsky said the man had a loaded .357 revolver in front of him throughout the ordeal, but did not have any hostages in his home as was originally thought. The situation was resolved peacefully just before 6:30 p.m. after the man received a visit from Monsignor Richard Krumlish of St. Bonaventure Church. And on Sunday, July the 2nd, 128 pre-1943 automobiles will roll through the town of West Seneca for an afternoon during their 4,400-mile international timed race from Ottawa, Canada to Mexico City. The 1995 Great North American Race will stop at Buffalo Airfield, 4500 Clinton Street from noon to 3 p.m. on Sunday. And again, that all occurred 32 years ago on June 23rd, 1994. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 29 minutes past the hour. And we'll turn now to the Sun and the Erie County Independent, serving Hamburg, Angola, Blaisdell, Boston, Derby, Eden, Evans, and Lakeview. And our first article carries the headline, "Where do we go after the Bills game?" Sanitas hopes it's the Gateway Building. There are 70,000 people that go to the game, Buffalo Bills. Where do these people go after the game? I don't know. Maybe they'll come here. Andrew Sanitas, a commercial broker developing the plan for the revitalized Gateway Building, has a belief that the reimagined Gateway Building site can be an entertainment hub, offering a theater, restaurants, and a high-end meeting room, while also providing hotel suites to turn the redeveloped area into the finest hotel in the region. The proposed plan for the 25.5-acre site at 3556 Lakeshore Road would see two 5-story hotel buildings with 65 suites each and 17 covered parking spaces on the eastern side of the Gateway Building, and 12 5-story condominium buildings with 8 units per building each, with 17 covered parking spaces. The plan for the actual Gateway Building would include 102 hotel rooms, the continuance of the office space, 3 restaurants, a theater, a large meeting space, and a daycare site. At a Town of Hamburg Planning Board meeting, public hearing was held on site plan approval for the Gateway Plan and approval of a 2-lot subdivision of the property to see the 2 hotels on one parcel and the 12 condominium buildings on the other. Sanitas outlined just some of the amenities that will be available for those living and visiting the revitalized area. Sanitas said the large meeting room on the ground floor of the Gateway Building would be the second largest meeting room space in the region at 6,000 square feet. The Gateway Building ground floor will also have a 4,000 square foot theater with seating for 240 people. The revamped theater will include new seating with the capability to hold a wedding, corporate meeting, comedy show, or watch the Bills game. The plan also shows 3 restaurants in the Gateway Building, including one on the top floor with views of Lake Erie. I already have these people. I've been looking for restaurateurs and people for 2 years now, Sanitas said. These people do a fantastic job. I'm also partnering up with a local restaurant group that have restaurants in Buffalo, Florida, and Las Vegas. They know what they're doing and understand food very well. It's expected that the site will have a total of 863 parking spaces. The Gateway Plan will be back in front of the board on Wednesday, July the 1st, where it's believed site plan approval and the approval of the 2-lot subdivision will be granted. Within the planned unit development that was passed by the Hamburg Town Board in 2024 related to the Gateway Plan, the developer will have 10 years to complete the project. Sanitas has said previously that the idea will be to work on the Gateway Building first and then build 2 new buildings at a time. Focus on downtown revitalization, connection to 18 Mile Creek, that's Village of Hamburg, $4.5 million state grant. New York State asked Village of Hamburg officials to creatively sell them on why the state should deliver a $4.5 million grant to the municipality. On the 4th attempt, the state saw how this money could revitalize the downtown area and 18 Mile Creek. On June 12th, Governor Kathy Hochul made the announcement that the village had received a $4.5 million New York Forward grant to revamp Main Street from Center Street to Buffalo Street and Buffalo Street North to Prospect Avenue, with a focus on connecting the downtown area to the creek. We have a long way to go to get the money from the state, but this is the first step toward revitalizing some of our downtown area, said Village Mayor Thomas Tallman. Part of the team that put the village's application together was community liaison Kim Bork. Bork said the application for New York Forward is unlike other grant programs the state provides, stressing that those examining the applications are looking for municipalities to take a big swing with their presentations. What they ask us to do is basically put together a magazine trying to sell our community, said Bork, who explained that part of the presentation given back in December included a friend of hers who had a travel show on PBS narrating a video on the past, present, and future of the village from the viewpoint of the creek and what this development could do to enhance the the creek and municipality. While the grant award is for $4.5 million, Bork said the state wanted an abundance of projects submitted with the application. She said the village submitted just over $10 million worth of projects. This included 4 public projects, a pedestrian bridge for the Anna Mae Bacon Bird Sanctuary, solar panels in the village, wayfinding and tourism-focused signage, and a small project fund for tiny projects in the village like a new awning or repainting a building. It also included 14 private projects. Some of these projects included a rooftop bar and dining setup for 1715 Buffalo Street, which includes Augie's that would overlook the creek, projected at $750,000. A second-story bar and dining area at Blue-Eyed Baker at 50 Buffalo Street. Exterior renovations and the ability to overlook the creek for Black Flower Wine and Provisions at 8 Buffalo Street, expected to cost $400,000. And restoring the historic facade at Atia and Atia PC at 11 Main Street. The private businesses have to cover a minimum of 25% of the cost to be eligible to receive funding. This whole application kind of focused on developing this area around the creek that comes right up to the Main and Buffalo intersection, Bork said. Just because these projects were part of the application, that doesn't mean they're going to be funded, as the village had to submit an array of projects for the presentation totaling more money than what is being allocated from the state. The village, with the assistance of construction engineering company Labella Associates, will now begin developing a strategic investment plan and a local planning committee, which will be made up of municipal representatives, community leaders, and other stakeholders. The process quite quickly started after the ceremonial award on June the 12th, said Village Administrator Jason Koza. Koza expects it will be an 8 to 12 month process to create the plan, committee, hold public meetings, and then make recommendations to the state on what projects should be selected. The planning committee will send recommendations to the state, but ultimately the state decides what money goes where, Bork said. They'll decide which projects they think will be the best economic drivers for the village. Langworthy launches America 250 Community Heroes Award to honor local residents. Representative Nick Langworthy has launched the NY23 America 250 Community Heroes Award, a district-wide initiative recognizing individuals across Western New York and the Southern Tier whose service, sacrifice, leadership, and dedication reflect the values that have shaped the nation for 250 years. As America prepares to celebrate its 250th anniversary, Langworthy is calling on residents throughout the NY23 Congressional District to nominate local heroes who have made a meaningful impact in their communities. Our nation's story is written by ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things, Langworthy said. For 250 years, generations of Americans have stepped forward to serve their neighbors, their communities, and their country. The America 250 Community Heroes Award is a way to recognize what makes America great by honoring the people who continue that tradition every single day. The initiative will highlight the stories of residents who embody the values that have defined the American spirit: service, sacrifice, patriotism, hard work, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. The award will recognize citizens throughout the district, including veterans, first responders, volunteers, educators, healthcare workers, community leaders, coaches, and everyday neighbors who have gone above and beyond to make their community stronger. Residents are encouraged to participate in the open nomination process and share the stories of individuals whose actions represent the best of America and the best of Western New York and the Southern Tier. Winners of the award will be recognized at a series of events across the district. Nomination information and additional details on the award are available at langworthy.house.gov/America-250- community-heroes-award. Again, nomination information and additional details on the award are available at langworthy.house.gov/America-250-community-heroes-award. Traffic studies offer recommendations for making travel safer for roads intersecting with Zimmerman Road. Recent traffic studies at a pair of roads that intersect with Zimmerman Road could lead to changes that Town of Boston officials believe will make them safer. One of those is at the corner of Mayer Road. These studies began in the fall of 2025. Erie County studied the intersection on October 29th, Boston Town Supervisor Jason Ketting said. The county then did a second study on May 19th before making final recommendations. He said that although it indicates an all-way stop at that intersection, it truly isn't one. There's a 30-inch stop sign there currently, Ketting said. What is being recommended there are 36-inch stop signs, as well as stop-ahead warning signs with reflective stripes. Additionally, he said some similar recommendations are being made for the corner of Zimmerman and Rice Roads. Similarly, the county conducted studies in October 2025 and May 2026. And at that intersection, 36-inch stop signs are also being recommended, with a stop-ahead sign with reflective lights being recommended for traffic traveling west on Rice toward Zimmerman. There has been no time frame set as to when these changes could occur. Ketting added that a third traffic study is also currently underway at Feddick and Rice Roads. The town is still awaiting results for that study. In another matter, Ketting is encouraging residents to sign up for the Text My Gov program. He said with the 4th of July around the corner, the town will keep residents informed of such things as traffic patterns for the annual Independence Day celebration, which will take place on Saturday, July the 4th, behind Boston Town Hall. The Boston Town Board will hold its next meeting at 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, July 15th at Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road. Next up, officials differ on why move to merger fire departments didn't go through. The merger between the Big Tree Volunteer Fire Company and Blaisdell Volunteer Fire Department that is expected to end in the dissolution of the Blaisdell Volunteer Fire Department will have to wait for another year due to what Village of Blaisdell officials are calling a clerical error through the town of Hamburg, while the town is saying it's due to a communication breakdown between the New York State Senate and the New York State Assembly. Blaisdell Village Attorney James Shaw told the Blaisdell Village Board that despite an expectation that the process would be able to move forward at the conclusion of the state legislature session on June the 4th to be placed before Governor Kathy Hochul for the final approval, it ended up being held up. Back in March, the village sought legislation from the State Assembly and State Senate to get the matter completed by the end of the session. He said early on June 4th, he spoke to a representative from State Senator Patrick Gallivan's office, and it appeared that it would clear the hurdle to proceed. Unfortunately, around the end of May, we had to prepare 8 forms, said Shaw, noting these forms were split between the State Senate and the State Assembly. He said Town of Hamburg officials needed to prepare the same forms as the town since Big Tree is in the town. Both the town and village sent over the paperwork, but Shaw says there was an issue with the town. The form wasn't properly filled, Shaw said, saying it was missing a required signature. He said he was told that attempts were made to call Hamburg officials, but it was unclear to him who they tried to call to get the situation rectified. The session ended on June the 4th. One signature required was left blank, Shaw said. Hamburg Town Supervisor Elizabeth Farrell Lawrence said the town's role was not accurate with what village officials were told. We did everything on our part, she said. That was all taken care of multiple times, and by the deadline that was given. She said the missing signature was resolved and submitted to the Home Rule Office in time. Farrah Lorenz said the breakdown was between the state Senate and the state Assembly. Throughout the process, the supervisor noted her office has been in constant contact with state officials to make sure everything was done correct and on time. She added that she has kept all communications to show that the town completed all the necessary paperwork within the time frame it was supposed to. Farrah Lorenz said that she has been in contact with Village of Blaisdell Mayor Rob Hefner and as far as what happens next. She added it's out of the town's control and she does not know if this can still be resolved this year. Shaw said as a result, the parties will have to wait until at least January before the situation can be resolved. The village agreed to a one-year extension with Big Tree earlier this year for a contract to handle fire-related calls through June 2027. It's very disappointing that this happened, Hefner said, adding it's frustrating that the village may ultimately have to come up with additional money next year to extend the contract with Big Tree again. The board will hold its next meeting at 4:30 p.m. Wednesday, July 15th at Blaisdell Village Hall. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 46 minutes past the hour. Golf Carts Unlimited approved to build building, covered patio after fire damage. Golf Carts Unlimited can now begin to rebuild its business at 2330 Lakeview Road following a fire there last August. The Town of Hamburg Planning Board has granted site plan approval, allowing a one-story, 4,700 square foot building and a 1,350 square foot covered patio to be constructed. A negative State Environmental Quality Review Act declaration was also issued for the project, saying there will be no adverse impact on the environment. This will allow the company to demolish the current building that was damaged by the fire. The patio will be a new addition to the footprint of the business. The auto shop on the property will remain in place. Throughout the process of the project being in front of the planning board, there has been a question about outdoor storage at the facility. Planning Board Chair Cynthia Granashan said previously that the original site plan approval for Golf Carts Unlimited had a condition of no outdoor storage, yet golf carts were out at the site. Owner Mark Passon said it's important to have the golf carts displayed outside to show customers the carts. A condition of site plan approval for the new building and covered patio said there will be no outdoor storage, but the display of golf carts will be allowed. 10 Lives Club gets change of use approval to turn former Gentlemen's Club into Cat Rescue Services building. 10 Lives Club Cat Adoption Group finally got its wish. It's turning a former Gentlemen's Club into a Cat Rescue Services building. The club was approved for a change of use and site plan approval for a building at 3747 Lakeshore Road, the former home of the Stiletto Club, to transform that building into a Cat Rescue Services building. The structure at 3747 Lakeshore Road is adjacent to the club's main shelter on Lakeshore Road. A change of use approval from the Town of Hamburg Planning Board was needed as Cat Services was not an allowed use in the M3 heavy industrial zone. Representatives from the club said the plan is to buy 3747 Lakeshore Road through private funding from one of its donors. Once the purchase is completed, the expectation is the first floor of the two-story building will be used for a retail store or cat cafe, while the second floor will be used for cat rescue services. Our next article is a history article that we can relate to today. 1936 heat wave damaged farmlands across the country, including in the Southtowns. Chester Quaiser headed out to gather the cows on his farm in the hamlet of Morton Corners on a hot, late summer afternoon in 1936 when he heard a roar behind him. He turned and saw the barn had burst into flames. It spread so quickly that nearby grass, already baked brown during the summer-long heat wave, also was ablaze and quickly spreading to the nearby farm machinery. He ran into his house to retrieve a large knife to free a thoroughbred Holstein bull tied up in the barn. Despite his efforts, the animal perished, and he suffered severe burns on both hands. A tractor, a corn planter, corn cutter, potato planter, binder, tools, grain, and a barn full of hay all went up in flames. It was a loss of $5,000, nearly $120,000 in today's currency. Spontaneous combustion in a haymow, a pile of hay in the barn, was the cause of the fire. That wasn't surprising on a day when the temperature reached 85 degrees after 2 months of little rain and heat into the high 90s. The 1936 North American heat wave was one of the most severe and deadliest heat waves in the nation's history, claiming an estimated 5,000 lives across the United States. This heat wave occurred deep in the Great Depression years and contributed to the Dust Bowl era that devastated American farmlands of the South and Central Great Plains. Though the effects of the 1936 heat wave were not as severe in the Northeast as areas to the west, the farms of southern Erie County, Hamburg, Eden, Boston, Marilla, Concord, still experienced horrific consequences. The heat wave began in late June and did not subside until early September. Temperatures in the Central Plains and the South regularly reached triple digits. Nature wasn't much kinder to Erie County. Temperatures during July and August routinely rose into the 90s when recorded in the city of Buffalo, but went higher outside the city. Only Buffalo and limited adjoining areas near Lake Erie escaped from temperatures which again soared toward the 100-degree mark, the Buffalo Evening News reported. Dozens of suburban towns and western New York villages reported temperatures above 100 degrees. Machias was the hottest at 102 degrees. Farmers in Hamburg and other Southtowns communities watched as their crops wilted while families shopping in grocery stores had to reach deep into their pockets to pay for food. A photo on the front page of the Buffalo Evening News on July 20th, 1936 showed Walter L. Miller in his sweet corn patch at his farm on Hamburg-Eden Road. Ordinarily, this corn would have grown as tall as a man, the news reported. Instead, it is maturing at from knee to waist high, and Mr. Miller is harvesting only about 75 ears to the acre, as compared to 500 to 1,000 ears in normal years. 3 days later, the news reported that the prolonged drought and heat wave had already caused $15 million in damage to farm crops in western New York, equivalent to $340 million in today's currency. Pastures in most sections of western New York are burned down brown and contain little or no food nourishment for cattle, the news reported. The cows are simply out there in the sun taking it, said Henry L. Page, Erie County agricultural agent. A dearth of rainfall resulted to the calamity of the searing heat. Erie County rainfall was down 59% from normal rainfall from April to July the 7th. And the current loss didn't take into account what was yet to come. One of the greatest losses to be suffered by farmers in the western New York area is rather intangible, and one which will not show up until next year, the news reported. It is represented by the almost total loss of grass and legume seedings, which farmers planted with their small grain crops this year to provide hay meadows in 1937. Vegetable crops took a beating. Early sweet corn is practically a flop, said Henry G. Marquardt of Orchard Park, president of the Niagara Frontier Cooperative Farmers Market. On his own farm, Marquardt said the onion crop was reduced by a third. He had to plant his acre of carrots twice, and his late cauliflower crop showed only about a 50% stand. When it came time to harvest sweet peas, the pickers found none. A large canning company in the Hamburg territory, which was planting 230 acres in cultivation for peas, expected 50 or 60 cases of peas per acre, reported it received not a single case, the news reported. Prices rose dramatically at the store. Fresh vegetables, peas, lettuce, cucumbers, carrots, and beets rose by 25% or more. String beans, formerly 10 cents a measure, cost 15 cents. Lettuce, formerly 8 to 10 cents a head, now cost 13 to 15 cents. Berries that were 20 cents a quart now cost 25 cents. The devastating North American heat wave of 1936 didn't break until mid-September. Moving on now, 7 Brew Coffee closing in on site plan approval for McKinley Mall area site. 7 Brew Coffee, looking to build a 510 square foot building within the roundabout of the McKinley Mall, is one step away from being able to call the town of Hamburg the latest home for the coffee franchise. A public hearing on site plan approval for the building was in front of the town of Hamburg Planning Board on June 17th. No one from the public spoke during the hearing. The store is set to be located near the northern entrance of the mall, across from the McKinley Plaza and next to Dollar Tree. The drive-through operation, which will serve coffee, soda, tea, lemonade, smoothies, and shakes, is expected to have 2 drive-through lanes, each with 23 stacking spaces. There will also be a pass-through lane for customers who wish to leave the drive-through or have already gotten their order before the car in front of them. The franchise operates by having employees with tablets take the orders from customers while they're in the drive-through lane, allowing their order to be waiting for them when they approach the window, and attempt to keep the drive-through moving as quickly as possible for all involved. Due to the popularity of the new to Western New York coffee chain, the company was working on an agreement with the landlord of the McKinley Mall parking lot for a traffic management plan. Should significant traffic assemble and extra spaces are needed, employees and cones would be set up in the McKinley Mall parking lot to allow stacking through the parking lot. During those first couple months, when they, 7 Brew Coffee, first open, they tend to get quite busy, said Anthony Pandolfi, a senior associate with Carmina Wood Design, representing the developer. The project will be back in front of the planning board on Wednesday, July the 1st for site plan approval. And NYSEG completes upgrades at Cobble Hill Substation in Western New York. New York State Electric and Gas has completed its upgrades to the Cobble Hill Substation, which will improve reliability, resilience, and capacity for customers in the towns of Boston, Colden, East Concord, and Glenwood. This substation serves approximately 3,700 customers in Western New York. The investment is part of Avant Grid and NYSEG's investment plan to improve grid infrastructure through 2030 to meet the growing energy demands on homes and businesses and protect the community against severe weather events. This substation was a priority for us because it supports energy capacity and reliability for our customers in Erie County, said Mark Jomont, president of NYSEG. For some time, customers in this community were reliant on a mobile substation to power their homes and businesses. Now that the work is complete, we can use our mobile substation to improve reliability in other communities in need. The substation is located on Hun Road and is approximately 50 years old. This spring, NYSEG procured a 56 MVA transformer, which will provide the energy load for the community. Reliable electric service is essential to the safety, economy, and quality of life of the town of Boston, said Boston Town Supervisor Jason Ketting. NYSEG's investment in the Cobble Hill substation represents a significant upgrade to critical infrastructure that serves many residents and businesses in our community and neighboring towns. These upgrades replace older equipment with newer, more reliable technology to improve service, reduce outages, and keep communities better prepared for severe weather. You've been listening to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Your reader for this hour has been Will Evans. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Ampol Eagle. At 4 o'clock, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. And following that, at 5 o'clock, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability